Okay, I'm going to whiz through. Closures of shops, we've talked about this already. 11% vacancy rate in England last year, 12% in Scotland, 14.5% in Wales. If we look at the scene in the round, 19% of all trips were shopping trips last year, 17% of all sales on the internet. Personal trips for shopping down from an average of 216 per person per year in 2002 to 177 per person per year in 2015. But 87% of us live within 5 miles of a local high street, and 38% still visit on a weekly basis, which suggests there's still a case for the pedestrian pound. Footfall can deliver economic benefits. So what's it worth? We know that UK high streets have lost about 22% footfall between 2007 and 2017. But improved streets can still deliver between 20 and 35% increases in footfall and up to 30% increase in retail turnover, which is not insignificant. Broadly, there's a positive link between the quality of the urban environment and commercial returns. Nevertheless, businesses and retailers overestimate the importance of driving and parking, whereas shoppers are more interested in the range of shops and services available and the quality of the street environment, and have expressed willingness to pay for it. But more and more, as we've heard already, it's about the experience. And also what we're seeing is a shift in perceptions because we have more information, and better data creates better decisions. And here we have information collected by TfL in their economic case for business and walking last year. Other information, TfL, again, great information for London, but you can see that people who walk and cycle visit their high streets more frequently over a monthly basis than people driving, and they spend more because they visit more often. This is a parklet in Shoreditch. Over a 3-month period, it increased its retail takings by 20%. Wanstead High Street increases in improvements in the walking environment between the train stations and bus stops led to an increase in journeys of 98% on foot. Oxford Street and the diagonal crossing. You make it something as simple as enabling people to cross where they want to be more quickly, and you've got up to 25% increase in takings in some of the stores on that crossroads. Space reallocation in New York has been linked to increases in sales of 48% for both Nicholas and Amsterdam avenues, and of course Paris is now going car-free. So you've got changes in perception, changes in behaviour. But we mustn't forget, of course, good old Mary Porter's here, that high streets are about more than just retail. They're also about socialising, and Leo said the same thing. So what will the future look like? I haven't got a Blade Runner image, but another jazzy one. Already we've got methods of shopping that are integrated between physical retail locations, online presence, or by phone. That is obviously going to continue, and we'll see augmented realities on street, in-store. In-store, that can mean things like creating events. It can be providing more product information, for example, through a virtual tour of the factory producing the goods. It might be wider product choice. So this is a virtual rail for clothing that was tested out in Marks and Spencer's in Amsterdam. But lots of these things are being tested very quickly and gone very quickly. On street, what we might see are enhanced wayfinding facilities, so real-time information on walking routes, which could be based on things like construction, crowding, or updated footpaths. It can be about finding more information about the place that you're in. You could use a QR code to have a heritage walk, or more place-based information about shops and other services. Mobile transactions, of course, mean that quite often we're engaging with digital marketing before we even get to the high street, because you might be looking up opening times of a particular shop, you might be looking at its social media presence, you might be planning your travel. Once you get to a high street, use of QR codes, BLE beacons, other things like that, mean that an awful lot of information is being picked up about personal preferences and used to trigger personalised marketing by companies at you straight away. And of course, things like cloud applications and point of sale systems mean that pop-up stores are much more of a feature on our high streets, and it enables them to compete at a relatively inexpensive way with established stores. And certainly it was in 2015, the pop-up market was worth 2.3 billion in terms of turnover. It employed over 26,000 people, and it had grown 12% in that year. So, these are things that are happening. But whilst we know that the digital economy is really important and it's here to stay, it all links back to the quality of the street environment where people are going to be going, visiting, spending time. So it needs to be walkable, it needs to be accessible, it needs to be pleasant, as well as being connected to the digital realm. That's me. Within time.